The next task we'll use is going to be to dimension the plan. We've got a few other things I want to tweak in here before we dimension the concrete masonry units, the CMU units for the basement, and for the concrete stem walls. So let's see, I want to hatch some of this stem wall. But remember, we're driving in the middle of this stem wall with a car. We have a 9'4" opening. So what you could do, again, I'm in the structural layer, and if you were to draw a line with O-snap turned on, see, I can turn off, I'll keep grid turned on. I'll turn on O-snap, and if I were to draw a line from the midpoint of this outside line, not the midpoint of this line, but the midpoint of the outside line, straight up with perpendicular turned on, perfect, you can see from the grid line it's 8 feet over. That's exactly dead center of the wall. So half of that, if we have a 9'4" opening, half of 9 foot is 4.5 foot is what? That's 46. Another 6 is 52. About 54 inches. I believe if I offset this line 54 inches on both sides, let's give it a shot. I'll offset. Type in 54, click on this line, throw it out to the side, click on this line, throw it out to the side. Come on, throw it out to the side. Good, and click. Press escape. Now I'm going to come up and measure this distance from here to here. And 9 foot, dang it. Math was off. So, no big deal. Offset those two lines by 2 inches. Yeah, I forgot. There's something else going on here. Don't worry about it. So I'll do an offset 2 inches. We'll go from here to here and from here to here. So my offset should have been, well, distance from here. Oh, come on. Distance should have been from here to here. It should have been 4 foot 8 inches. Well, you could just type in 4 and 8. Now, what I'll do is I'll delete this line here. This one we don't need anymore, and this line here we don't need anymore. Press enter. Let me delete this guy here. This stem wall, if you remember the Revit model, it's shorter. This is a 2 foot tall stem wall here. It's a 2 foot tall stem wall here. This is a 1 foot tall stem wall. It is hidden underneath the slab. So what I'll do is I'll use the trim command, and I think I'll trim this, and it found 2 boundaries. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Then add a line with O-snap turned on from here to here. It's 9'4", and then use match properties. Touch this dashed line and this dashed line. So we see this stem wall here. We see this stem wall here. We can't see the stem wall below because it's hidden in the slab, if you can recall that. Now let's do something else over here. Let me draw a line from here to here. And remember, we had a 2 foot 8 door. And I need a 1 inch of space on both sides. It's a 1/2 inch for jam material, 1/2 inch for shim material. So let me offset this line 2 foot 10 inches to the right. So I'll call up the offset command. And I'll type in 2 foot 10 inches, press enter, touch this line, throw it off to the side. Perfect. Okay. Once again, I use the trim command, and I want to trim this to the nearest boundaries. Okay, I'm done. Throw a wall line back in from here to here, press escape, use the match properties, touch this dash line, and touch that. Because again, this is a 2 foot tall stem wall here and here. This is a 1 foot tall stem wall. Something else we would need to do is let's put in that slab, that concrete slab for the garbage can. So come out exactly 4 feet. So I'll type in 48 and it'll come out 12 feet, which is 144 inches. Inches. Enter. And come on. Enter. And I'll come straight down 4 feet. Come on. Well, okay. Something's off, but I'll just come straight down here with let's see, with ortho turned on. I'll point it in the right direction and I'll type in 48. Okay, so it did something. I guess it's spilling over here. There must be another problem over here someplace. Don't know what the problem is. Let me check the properties of this thing. Properties, it's man. It's 4 feet. Yeah. And let me check the properties of this thing here. It's 12 feet. Something's off. I'm over it. Okay, just leave it. So anyway, that's our slab. Then if you recall, in this concrete wall over here, we had a hole in the concrete block wall for ductwork to go through. So let me work on that. Let's draw a line from here to here. Notice it's 7 5/8 inches. That's the size of a concrete block. Let's offset this thing 24 inches from here towards the crawl space. Offset this thing 16 inches. So see, 16. Click from here to here. Press escape. Delete this line. Okay, this is an opening for ductwork, and there will be a keynote for that. Let's do the same thing on the back side. From here, I recall, if I were to snap from here to here, press enter, I want to offset this line 2 feet, it's 24, and I'll click, something's off. Hold on, let me try this one more time. Yeah, zoom in, I need to click from here to here, enter. Call up the offset command. This is going to be a 2 foot, and I'll click from here and down. Call up the offset command. I'm going to change it to 2 foot, 8 inches. So I've offset this line 2 foot, and now let me offset this line 2 foot, 8 inches. Let's go back to offset. And what you have to do, I did this before off screen, but what you have to type in is go 2 with a tick mark and a hyphen, no space, 8, the double tick mark, press enter. That turns it into 2 foot, 8 inches. In Revit, if you put 2 space 8, it would see as 2 foot, 8 inches. In AutoCAD, you have to put in 2 feet space dash 8 inches. Then it says select the object, you click here and you click down. Perfect. Good. I press escape and I'll delete this line here, my original line. Because, something else I could do too, would be good to see, is go ahead and delete this hatch that Revit gives you. Oh yeah, good. Good, because that's a hole there. So I like that. Now let's put some hatching for some sand on top of a stem roll. You don't have to do it on top of the concrete block because there's diagonal lines. That's our hatching. So on hatch, call this up, and we want to use not an ANSI, but let's go look for an architectural sand, not concrete, the AR sand. And since we're doing this, notice the scale's at 1 inch. If I were to hatch that thing, that gets to be too busy. Just highlight this thing and put in 10. You don't have to put the inch mark in, but come down to here, okay, and hit that. Maybe it's not too impressive. Yes, it isn't. Let me try something. Let me change that to a 5. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Close this. See? So I got some type of hatch going on in there, and I don't want it too busy. Let me double click this thing one more time. Oh, you see those little red, yellow dots, the red dots? I'll show you what to do in there. Now let me put in a 4 in here. Okay. So that's looking a bit better. But if you see these red lines in here, don't have an expression, type in REGEN, regen. Regenerate. They'll go away. Now let's try the hatch one more time. So the hatch with a scale of 5, that'll work. Approach here, and I found that boundary. do this one, and I think you have to do this one too, because we've got two lines crisscrossing each other, and do the same thing here. And it found all that. Do the same thing here, and it found all that. But don't forget, you have to pick up this, and one last corner, you got to pick up that. Okay, press enter. Now you've hatched that, and when you print it and plot it, it'll look a bit better. Tell you what, let's go back to the site S2. So we had this thing, this is the roof framing. I think I told you the other day, right click above here, put your mouse above S2, right click, and go move or copy. Take S2, which is golden, and say create a copy. And then just say OK. Now we have an S2 and we have S2 too. Take this one here and rename it, and we'll call it S1. Because the first sheet is going to be our foundation plan, because we got to build that first before we put the roof on, which is S2. Then you can press escape. Let me try it one more time. Guess I got ahead of myself. S1, enter. Okay, good. Now, if I press escape one more time, here's S1, but we don't see our structure that we want to see. Jump from paper space through the viewport, which now turned black. Right click, go to pan, and let's go find our foundation plan. Now you can see the hatch, it's starting to look good. Now I'm going to keep some space around here because, yeah, I want to see about this much because I got to put some dimensions around here. Let me come back up out of model space. So I'll right click and press exit. And I'm still in model space. Let me press the word model. You come up to paper, and now double check your viewport. And your viewport, it is 1/8 inch scale. Perfect. Good. So that's looking pretty good. And once again, we're in paper space. These should have been dashed lines. Let's type in LTS and change it to 0.3. So now we see our dashed lines in paper space. Okay, but I'm going to back to model space to do dimensioning. So let me do that. Jump over to model space. And then notice our lines again are solid. So I'll type in LTS. I think I'm going to just press in enter. It calls up the last command, which is LTS, and change it from 0.3, which is useful in paper space, to about 40, 44. I'm lazy. I'll put 44. And then there's our dashed line. Now let's put some dimension lines on here. Okay. So what I'll have to do is create a new dimension style, different than the site plan dimension style. So if you type in dim style, okay, press enter. We made this site one. And so let's say new. And it's going to make a copy of site. That's how it's going to name it. Let's just call this thing foundation. I'll just put F-O-U-N-D. So you do this foundation plan, the floor plan, anything that's going to be plotting at the same scale. And you say continuous. Now everything's fine except what we have to do is let's go back to, see, the units is fine. It's going to be architectural and the precision down to that. That's all fine. We unclick the suppression of the 0 inches and 0 feet. Let's go to the text size. Here's where we're going to change some stuff. Now our text height wants to be 6 inches. Because remember, 99% of your text in model space for the structural is going to be 6 inches tall. All this alignment here is good. But our text, it should float above the dimension line half the height of the text, where the text is 6 inches. So let's change this thing to 3 inches. Okay, so almost done. Let's go to symbols and arrows. So the tick mark, we want the tick marks to be the size of the text. And so highlight that, and that's going to again be 6 inches. And then let's go to lines. So the dimension lines and the extension lines, when they crisscross each other, they used to be at 1 foot. Let's change it to 6 inches here. So the extension lines, it'll cross the dimension lines by 6 inches. And we've got to do it 2 more times. The extension lines, they'll crisscross the dimension lines by 6 inches. Okay. And this offset from origin, this should have been 12 inches, but we made it 16 inches because they had a 12-inch overhang. But in here, for consistency, all this has to be, again, is 6 inches. So we say OK. So this foundation, now we say set current. Okay, and then we say close. So when we do a dimension across here, let's give this a shot. Yeah, this yeah, it might kind of scare you, whatever. Only because we're kind of tight on real estate. Let me do an overall dimension. And tell you what, yeah, maybe I will just take it out here someplace. Okay, good. Well, here, I'm going to turn on snap. See, snap needs to be turned on for sure. Grid is good to be turned on because I'm going to do an overall dimension. So if I click here, go linear, what you do is let snap find that corner, and remember, dimension to the corner of the foundation stem wall, not the footing, because we're setting up the formwork. Then don't come to this corner or that corner, that corner. What you could do, just to find the overall length of the house, let's take it out to the fireplace. And then as you pull it down, this is what you're looking for. Now watch this. I'm going to put dimension line down. Let me see what my snap is set at. Well, I think my snap is set at 6 inches. Watch. No, excuse me. My snap is at 2 feet. I tell you what. Let me come down to about here. I might regret this. I'll move it later. Let me try something. Sorry, folks. Let me change the snap setting. I'm in the middle of all this stuff to 6. Just change it here and say OK. Now I'm in the middle of doing this dimension line. Our building's 58 feet wide. But now with snap turned on, as I pull down here, I want a dimension line 1, 2, 3, 18 inches away. No, 2 feet away. I'll explain this in a minute. And then I'll go 18 inches away. 1, 2, 3. Click. Okay. Now it's going to be weird that this dimension line is spilling over in here. Don't worry about it because this framing plan here is only going to have framing here. We don't need this part of the plan, but we'll just leave it. Okay, that's the overall dimension. Now, because the closest dimension, which we'll see right here, wants to be 2 feet away from face. And then the next dimension will be 18 inches over. There's some information in the packet on that. Just, I guess, trust me at the moment. Let's go back to dimension again. So we'll click, we'll click this. I kind of probably could have just pressed enter. Now watch this. Click this corner. Don't click this corner. Click this one. You'll see why. And then you pull out, and it tells us this is, and watch this. 1, 2, 3. 18 inches away is where I want a gap between this dimension line and that dimension line. And you can see that this thing is pointing to and just not touching that corner. Well, I want to dimension from here to here. Well, you'll see what I'm dimensioning to. Let me press enter to call up the dimension line. Go to the corner of the concrete block, go to the corner of the porch, and pull down, and it should read 18 inches. Press enter again. Go from corner to corner, pull straight down 8. I'm going to try it again. I don't know what I pressed. Here, here, down, and click. Okay. I think I pressed enter, but I think what you got to do is just press it. And you just click on the mouse. Do it one more time here. We'll press enter to call up the dimension line. Don't go to this corner or this corner. Go to this corner here, the furthest corner out. And then we want to go to this corner here and pull out. And that's our 14-foot living room. And then one last dimension here is go from here to here, not to the footing, down, and that should read 2 foot. Okay, press escape, done. That looks really, really good. Now, if we have an overall dimension here, we don't need an overall dimension in the back. So let me start putting some dimensions in the back. We still have to finish off this porch, but let's just bust out the dimensions. So the dimensions, what I would do is from here to here, by a rule, come back and keep about 2 foot away. Because what happens if there's a part of the building here, we may have a window symbol here, which we're not going to do in this class, but just let's give it a little bit of breathing room. Now let's dimension everything horizontally. So what I'll carry on with this, and I'll go from, not this corner, sorry, this corner to this corner, drag it all the way up, and let it snap. Remember, I got snap turned on. My snap setting is at 6 inches. So this snaps nice and clean. I'll press enter, and I'll go from this corner to this corner and pull it back to here. That looks great. Do it again, press enter, and I'll go from this corner to, what's this? We'll go to this corner here, pull it back, and say, okay, we have a 16-foot garage. But my concrete slab needs to know one other thing. So watch this. Another dimension line. Go from this corner to the face. Now see, snap is getting in my way. I need to turn off snap. Let O snap. I could probably turn off ortho too. Let O snap take me exactly to here. Then if you pull this thing back, come on, please. Yeah. Okay, now turn snap back on. Sorry. And gap this thing by 1, 2, 3 times 6 is 18 inches. Okay. So you've got that. You might get a sense that, yeah, I have to kind of toggle snap on and off. Now let me put some horizontal dimensions. So I'll call up the dimensions again, and putting dimensions off the side here, I want to point to this far porch, and I guess I'll go to, look, watch this. We don't have to dimension that slab because that's just flat work. So they'll know it's kind of a 4-foot by 12-foot thing. Let's click here, and we're not going to do this one yet. Well, I need to probably go back to do that one. No, I don't think I do because it's 16 foot. Yeah, it's 18 foot. It's a duplicate. So what you do is come over here and then come off again 2 foot. Click to here. Then let's dimension from here to here. So copy the dimension command. And we'll go from this corner of the concrete block to not this inside corner. We'll go to this corner here. And you pull out and let it line up. And then let's do the whole garage. So again, call it the, I'll press enter, call the dimension command. Now click from here to here, and I pull out the lineup with the dimension, which is about here. Good. Press escape. You got another dimension, a couple of dimensions you got to put in here. I'm going to you'll see what I'm doing. So if I click from here, I'm going to go from the corner here to this. O snap is in my way. I need to turn, snap is in my way, sorry. Turn off snap. We do want O snap. We wanted to go exactly to that corner. Pull down now. Let me put snap back on. And remember, you can toggle that on your keyboard with F3, F8 function, etc. But I'll just use these icons down here. Again, I want to gap this thing by 1, 2, 3, about 18 inches. Okay, perfect. This next dimension should read 9 foot 4 inches. If I go again, let me turn off snap. And with O snap, I'll go from here to here and turn on snap, pull straight down and to there. Let it meet the other one. And once again, I'll turn off snap, do a dimension, and I need to turn on O snap from here, not to this corner, but to this corner, and then pull down, but turn snap back on. That way it'll jump down 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, 2 feet, right there, it lines it up. So I have enough dimensions here and here for my concrete foundation subcontractor to do their work. Okay. A few of the things that we need to do is let's dimension the side. Okay. Now since this is dimensioned here, I don't think I need to duplicate it. So what I'll do is call up the dimension icon, click here, and click here. We're not going to pull straight up here. No, what we're doing is go horizontal. There we go. And we want to not line up with the fireplace, but come off about 2 foot. So there's about right. Call up the dimension again, click from here to here, and pull straight out. Press enter again, pull from here to here, and pull straight out. Press enter again, and dimension from the corner of the concrete stem wall, not the footing, and here, and pull straight out. I got a few more to do. So click here, click to this corner, and then click to this corner, pull straight out. It's 2 foot. And let's go ahead and do this last 6 foot one. So call it the dimension line, and we'll click from here to here, pull out to here, and click. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Let me put one more dimension over here, just so we don't get an RFI and say, hey, is this just in 2 foot or 23 inches? It's a dimension command. Go in this corner. Don't go to this line in here. Go to this line. Again, don't pull down, pull horizontal, and let it line up, and it's 2 foot. Now this 2 foot happens to meet this 2 foot, which it wants to. That's all good. So there's enough dimensions here on this plan for the concrete subcontractor to do their bulk of the work, but it got a few more things in here. For the CMU masonry person, let's click from here. Now let's do dimension from, let's see what I want to do here. Yeah, this will be kind of interesting. I'm going to turn off OSNAP. I'm going to go right to here. But I do want to turn on OSNAP, and I want to go right to here and pull back. Because remember, in our Revit model, we offset this first line 2 foot. Now let's do this other one to say, hey, that's 16 inches. So I think that don't turn on, well, I guess we could keep that on. This could work out. Let's try this. I'll call it the dimension command, and OSNAP found that. OSNAP did find this. It's struggling, but it should read 1 foot 4 inches perfect. Yeah, because what's happened is Snap and OSNAP, they're kind of fighting each other, but I kind of made it win anyway. Let's call it this command again, and we'll go from here to here, and that should read 2 foot. Okay, now let me turn off Snap because it is getting in my way, because I know this last thing is 2 foot 8 inches. We'll call up the dimension line, and with OSNAP turned on, I can go from here to here, and I may not get this thing to line up perfectly, but if I go back to Snap, it will pop every 6 inches. So, bang, very good. Now, a few of the dimensions I'll put in here, we want OSNAP turned on. We don't want Snap turned on. It's going to get in our way. We have to tell somebody that from the core face of this concrete block, say here, to here, that this is a 6-inch heel. Okay, and now look at that little green thing. OSNAP's getting in my way. I'll press F3 to turn it off, and there's a dimension line. Let's do the same thing again. We have a 6-inch heel. We dial that in AutoCAD. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the intersection here, and I'm going to come all the way out to here with perpendicular turned on, and then I'll turn off OSNAP because it wants to snap over here. And I should be able to dial in the dimension here, because we have to tell somebody that this foundation, this footing, is 4 foot wide. Then we got something similar to do right across the face of these footings here. So I'm going to try something. I'll call up a line command, and with Snap turned on, let me just put in a line, a temporary line from here straight down out to here. It kicked off to the side. Let me undo that. I'll do it again. I'll do a better job. I'll call up the line command. I want this turned on. I want ortho turned on. And you'll see why I want this line. So maybe it's just a couple feet out in front of the staircase here. Let's just come up to here and about to here, come straight down. A little bit from the backyard, a little bit the front yard. Perfect. Okay. So this is just a point I'm going to snap to. But I'm going to turn off snap. I'm going to rely on O snap. But I don't need ortho. And I'm going to put a string of dimensions across here because somebody needs to know where this footing is. And since we model it correctly in AutoCAD, we can dimension it correctly in AutoCAD. Let AutoCAD do all the work. So with O-snap turned on, I'll go to the intersection of the core face exterior concrete block. And let's see, we don't need to do this one again here or here because everybody knows it's a 4-foot footing all the way around. So I think all we have to do is just go from here to here and pull a line out. Look at that, it's a pretty ugly number. Tell you what, I'll put it up here. Oh, sorry. Let me undo that. Let me press escape because I like to line things up nicely. Here we go again. Remember, O-snap is F9. That turns it on and off. O-snap is F3. I'll leave it on. But I'm going to toggle snap on and off. And that's just so I can get my dimension line to line up nicely. So I'll call it the dimension line. I'll come down and O-snap will take me to the intersection of core face exterior and that line. Now I got to come up here. I got to find this intersection here, which O-snap will let me do. I'll click and then press snap F9. And what you'll do, your dimension line, it'll kick out 6 inches, 12 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches. Let me just do it right there. Okay. Let me do the same thing. I'll call it the line command again, and I'm going to click from here, and snap is going to get in my way. I have to turn it off. O-snap will take me right there, and that's a pretty ugly dimension. I don't know why. Let me press escape. Something's not lining up the way I want. Try it one more time. I'll let O-snap take me here and here. Okay, then, when I pull it out, let me press F8 or F9, turn snap on, and I'll get that dimension line to look really pretty. Okay. Then let's do the same thing between here and here, and between here and here, etc., etc. So I'll call up the dimension line again. I'll turn off I'll turn off snap, which is F9, and I want to click from here to here. See if it did it right. Yeah, I think that's just the way it is. This is going to be kind of an ugly dimension. Let me just put it off to the side. And I'll just click it here. It's not going to look the prettiest. Okay. And then once again, I can duplicate this 1'3". So here I go again. I'll click from here. And notice a snap is turned off. O-snap is on. I should be able to click from here to here. And it should give me a 1'3". And I'll just park. O-snap got in my way. Let me click that and see if I can drag. Tell you what, let me delete it. I'm going to try that one more time. Delete. When I say it's a bit tricky, you just have to know when to put the clutch in when you shift gears. So I'll click here. I don't want snap on. O-snap I want on. I'll click from here to here. It will tell me it's a 15-inch foundation. Let me turn off O-snap, which is F3, because it had a tendency to snap back down here. And let me just float this thing up a little bit high. Okay, so there's enough dimensions here. I know it's kind of busy. Now I'm going to put one more dimension, and that's going to be from here to the core face exterior. So once again, I'll call up the dimension line, and with O-snap turned on, I can go to the intersection of this temporary black line all the way over to this dashed line here, down perpendicular, and it'll give me dimension. Good. Let me turn off O-snap. And I guess I'll just park the dimension there. Now the reason that the distance here and the distance here is off by 2 foot is, remember, we put the staircase in So we have a little more room in our dining room and a little less room in our kitchen. That's it. Okay. So we can delete this line. And this is a 35-minute video. I think we're done with the dimensions we need to do, so I'll just stop right there. Okay.